Hello, and today we're doing an FPL review of Game Week 19. That's right, the double game week. And what a week it was. My best ever score. And you gotta say, I scored 61 points in the free hit week, Game Week 18. And I've gone all the way up to 124. What an improvement. And you gotta feel bad for those people that captained Salah. I mean, the top 5 captaincies this week: Salah, then De Bruyne, Fernandes, Kane, Son. Salah got 4 points, absolutely dreadful. Benched against Burnley, absolute nightmare. De Bruyne, 8 points, very, very nice stuff. Very, very nice stuff. Assist against Crystal Palace. Fernandes, 8 points, decent. Assist against Fulham. Kane, 9 points. And Son, 5 points. Son got an assist, of course, in the game against Sheffield United from a corner. And Kane getting a very clever, instinctive goal to get him the 9 points there. And of those 5, which one did I captain? Well, it was Kevin De Bruyne. And it's a shame to see him go off injured with what looks like a leg injury. But we are going to go through my team this week. And we're going to go through my FPL review of Game Week 19. So to start off with, I basically had this thing this week. Because it was a double game week, I was in my video saying how I wanted to reach 100 points. And we did it, people. We did it. We joined the 100 club for the first time ever in FPL. Previous to this day, my best ever score was 92. That, funnily enough, I achieved this season also in game week number 2 when Son got 24 points. This season, though, we've done it again. We've broken another record and we've had a great week. But I basically did this thing where in order to get 100 points, I worked it out mathematically that each of my players in my 11 squad had to get at least 7 points combined for each player over the 2 games, because I had a team full of double game week players. No player that was in the starting 11 only had 1 game. That was why I was going full throttle this week. And it worked. I got 100 points and it was a really, really good week. So yeah, let's go through with it. But in terms of that 7-point thing, just showing you here, I basically had it where I had a list. I had Mendy. He got this 8 points, so he passed the test. Cresswell passed the test, 10 points. Diaz, Stones, all successful. Souček let me down, son. There's no need for it. Fernandes, well done, you passed the test, just about. KDB, he passed the test as captain. I mean, even if I hadn't have captained De Bruyne, he would have got 8 points, which was enough to get what I wanted. Salah didn't pass the test, absolute shocker. Cavani did, Abraham didn't, and Antonio did. So pretty successful, more than not there, to get to that 7 or more across both games. But it didn't matter anyway, because as I said, I still got 100 points. It was in the bag. And just a shame about Abraham and Souček and Salah. But this is going to be my review where I'm going to go through each player by player. And first of all, we start off with Mendy. Edouard Mendy, the Chelsea goalkeeper that I brought in for this game week. And it was a great shout because he faced a Fulham team that, yes, they've been really playing quite well recently, but they still aren't the most attacking team, and I really did fancy a clean sheet in that Fulham game. I had a feeling that Zuma had lost his place, hence why I got rid of him, but I brought in a Chelsea defender to get that game, and I kind of had mixed feelings about the Leicester match. I was thinking it's unlikely to get a clean sheet. Leicester are in amazing form, but it'd be nice to get some save points. We didn't get too many of those, but it was enough to get 8 points across the 2 for Mendy. So yeah, not too bad, and he's going to be the goalie I'm going to probably have long term, but I have got a second goalie that we'll talk about in a second that I basically got for a long term plan, because this season is so unpredictable, and I just thought it's better to have a rotating goalie just in case they didn't play. But yeah, Mendy did well for me in that Leicester game. Didn't do as well because Leicester obviously the much better team, and it almost felt like Leicester were doing all the right things that Chelsea were doing wrong. Really, really poor run of form that Chelsea are on, but they did get that win against Fulham. So 4 saves against Leicester got me an extra point, which was lovely. and obviously the 90 minutes played was a 2-pointer. So that's 3 points from that game, and then the -2 meant the -1 meant he finished that game on 2. So that's not ideal, but it's still something. It could have been 1 if he hadn't have got 4 saves. And then the Fulham game, really good, clean sheet is exactly what you want from a goalkeeper, and that was nice to see. Then moving on for our defence, we had Aaron Cresswell. I mean, what an absolute legend he has become in my team. I got him in, I think, when did I get him in? Was it like game 12 or something? It was really long ago. And I did it with the expectation of using him as much as I could in the double game week. And he really did deliver. I mean, it's a shame to not get the clean sheet in that second game against West Brom. A game you'd probably call a clean sheet. But to be fair, it's probably come at just the wrong time. West Brom have now had this resurgence under Sam Allardyce, getting goals. Not as many wins, just that one at Wolves. But still, they're scoring goals. And yeah, it was a shame to not see that clean sheet. But he got the clean sheet in the first game against Burnley, which earned him lovely 4 points. And to top things off, 2 bonuses. It's because Cresswell is just so attacking. But the only problem is, it seems like Cresswell and Kufal alternate from week to week in terms of getting big hauls. So if you've got one of them, you kind of have to be patient. One week they might not get the assist, and the next week they will. Because Kufal did in fact get the assist against West Brom. But yeah, 2 points against West Brom. At least he played the game and didn't get rotated out like people like Fabian Balbuena have been doing recently. But Cresswell's form has just been so encouraging, and he's a player that I really do like. Then Ruben Diaz, what an absolute legend. 18 points in the dream team, absolutely bossed it. I mean, he got an assist in the game against Crystal Palace. He could have easily got a goal with that header that was saved by Vicente Guaita. And yeah, he got the assist from that, which you could say was lucky, but as I said, it's either that or he gets the header in the back of the net. And then in the second game, so good again. Really good blocking and defending. And Man City just looked like a really secure defence to bank your money on. So he's so good. And it's a pretty amazing haul for a defender. Obviously, he got the assist in that last game against Crystal Palace. But then 2 bonuses was lovely. And he got himself another bonus in the Aston Villa game, as I said, for that really good blocking and clean sheet potential. And the thing about that Aston Villa game is Villa actually played really well. You know, they really showed them their stuff, and it was surprising considering they just come back from a long time out with COVID and having to isolate. I thought their players would be quite weak and slow, and they'd struggle to really frustrate Man City, but that's what they did, and they only got their moment of inspiration in the 79th minute through Bernardo Silva. So I think Villa going forward are a team that I do like. I do think I might get one of them back, but that's in the future. We'll think about that later. But Ruben Diaz, he's not a man that I'm gonna get rid of because he's just doing so well. And I went with Diaz because in my free hit team I had Stones and Cancelo, and I went with Diaz and Stones for this wild card for long term because I just thought Cancelo was less nailed on, and it really did help me out. Really good return by the Portuguese, and it means that we have really had that double-digit haul in the defence already, 28 points for 2 players. But then John Stones gets 27 on his own. I mean, that is amazing. The joint most points for a defender in any game week, whether that's double game week or single. Absolutely amazing. He's matched the record of John Arne Riise and some other guy. But he's just such a legend. Literally, I was going into that Palace game thinking, all right, let's just get a clean sheet and see what happens. Because I knew with Diaz, he was going to be the one that had more goal threat. But Stones finally gets his first Manchester City goal in the Premier League. And what a goal it was. But it was crafted by my captain in absolutely delicious style, outside of the foot. And then bullet header. No chance for the goalkeeper. And then, of course, he gets his goal from the rebound. Opportunist stuff, really, smelling out the chance and getting the rebound and just smashing it home. And then in the second game, once again, defensive clean sheet is what you love to see. So amazing haul for that Crystal Palace game. For a defender to do so well. In Palace are a team that I did say you should target because they're defensively quite leaky sometimes, especially with that Liverpool game not too long ago. But they obviously did keep a clean sheet against Arsenal, and I wasn't quite sure what to make of them going into that Man City game because they did have quite a good record at the Etihad in previous weeks. But Man City really turned on the style in that game, and amazing stuff from Stones. He's just such a legend already. To get 21 points in one game is just incredible. And then to know you've got another, clean sheetable, if that's a word, game against Villa, it was just so good. And 6 points more for him in that Villa game. What an absolute legend. He is the absolute beast of this double game week team. He really rose above the others. But in midfield, we had some mixed fortunes. And let's start off with the negatives. Souček, mate, I don't know. I really was banking on at least one goal in those games against Burnley and West Brom. I mean, they're such good fixtures, and it is a bit frustrating because I think earlier on in the season, I had Jared Bowen. Now, I switched back to Souček, well, not back to, but to Souček for the first time in that Everton game when they managed to get a winner from Souček and Cresswell assisted it. So that was the perfect point return for that week. Long term, I should have thought Bowen was closer to Souček in terms of goal scoring. And if I had have had Bowen, it obviously would have been better for me. But I still think Souček's better long term because I think Souček is actually cheaper than Bowen. And also, Souček just pops up when he wants. And I'm not going to play Souček every week. But it was obviously going to be a week that I was going to play him this week because of the two games. And he did let me down. In the first game, obviously, just getting the 2 points for the 90 minutes, but also he got a yellow card, which took away from those three, and then did nothing against West Brom. So it's a frustrating one for the Czech Republican, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. He's still a good player and a budget player. You want to think about having in your team for long term, especially. Then Bruno Fernandes. I said I would start with the weaknesses, but we're just going to go chronologically across the pitch. Fernandes, mate, you really did get me worried. In that Man United game, I was so sure he was going to get booked against Liverpool, and I was sweating because that would meant he would have missed the Fulham game, but he did well to not get booked. And to be honest, Manchester United should have really beaten Liverpool. That was a bit of a missed opportunity. Liverpool were there for the taking, and Fernandes, that chance where it was pulled across for Shaw, and it was a great save from Alisson from the leg. That was really the moment for Fernandes, but it was a pretty quiet game. Obviously, he had that free kick that whistled past the post, but on another day, maybe there's a haul there for Fernandes, and we're thinking about him differently. There's been a lot of talk about Fernandes and the fact that if you want to have a three of Fernandes, Salah, De Bruyne, and you can only afford two of them, do you just bin off Fernandes? Well, maybe, but at the end of the day, he came back in that Fulham game, and some people actually thought he might get a rest because it was Fulham and, Man United were already looking like they were going to win that game to go top of the league. But luckily, he did play the full 90 and he got an assist, a lovely little assist. I say the full 90, it was obviously he got subbed off in injury time. But the main thing is to get a return, and so many people were like, no, this is absolutely outrageous. Cavani scored and he didn't even get the assist for it because it was his cross, but then Areola, kind of punched it out and it came to Cavani to finish it. And luckily they confirmed it as an assist. So that's really, really big for him, really. But he did obviously get the clean sheet in that Liverpool game. It's just you want to be getting more points for such a premium player. But 8 points could have been worse. Not bad. I'll take it from Bruno. Now, Kevin De Bruyne, what an absolute legend. In that Palace game, he just looked a brilliant player. And I'm surprised that he only got 1 bonus point. I suppose he might have got 2. Obviously, Stones was going to get the most bonus points in that game. But, he going forward, he's just such a threat. And, it was the right game to captain him for. But if I could have just changed my captaincy for that second match week, then that would have been amazing. But you can't do that. And he unfortunately only played 58 minutes to get 1 point in that game against Villa, which was really annoying. At first, I thought he'd gone off for tiredness, and they were just kind of helping him out with that. But actually, it was a leg injury, and it does mean on the yellow flag, he's got 75% chance of playing. Now, Guardiola apparently has come out and said that it's not a great one and that he could be out for a couple of weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but that's what that people are saying. And if that's true, then it's a bit of an issue for my team. I'll just have to bench him in the next coming weeks. But that is a bit of a waste of a player who really does cost a lot. And maybe we should be moving on to someone like Sadio Mane, who, is still a good player. But with Liverpool's form, and now let's move on to Liverpool, maybe you don't want the Liverpool double up because they've lost to Burnley. Burnley, I know, of all teams to lose their unbeaten run at Anfield for about 3 or 4 years, they haven't lost there. And Burnley go and get a penalty and do a classic, Sean Dyche, part the bus, defend, win. I mean, it's amazing. Fair play to Nick Pope. He had a brilliant game, but it's so frustrating from a Salah owner point of view that Jurgen Klopp decides in a game against Burnley that Liverpool really had to win because their form has been so off par and they need to get back to retaining their quality. They go and bench Firmino and Salah. I mean, it's just crazy. And maybe he was tired, but it's just a really annoying one. He did come on for about 30 minutes, I think, 33 minutes. Whoops. But he didn't do anything in the Man United game. That was probably going to be a tough one, but everyone was hyping up that United game to be high scoring, and I thought Salah would be involved, and he just was pretty much done by Luke Shaw. He was not having any bit of space to get through. It's a shame. It is a shame, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We can't control it now, and it's done. So you might say that Salah is a player you want to have all season. I believe that, and I know that people are saying, oh, he's blanking all the time. He's blanking. You got to get rid. And I kind of agree with you to an extent, but he's Mo Salah. He can come back. He can redeem himself and score goals. So I'm too scared to get rid of him. I know he's got a game against Spurs that you could get him out, but he just scores every week, like when he's on form. Obviously, he's not on form now, but he will get back to it, I'm sure. So, be cautious with that. But yeah, that's my midfield done. And then Edinson Cavani was a player who I wasn't going to have long term. It was a short term punt, and did it work out. I was really annoyed that he didn't start the Man United Liverpool game because there was talk that Martial was going to miss out through a hamstring that he got in that Burnley match. And somehow they rushed Martial back into the team. And Cavani, as soon as he came on, looked like he was a threat. And I remember there was that chance where Rashford literally had it and he was running with the ball. And if he just slips through Cavani, who's made a run to his left-hand side, then he'd probably got a chance. But he just held on to it, Rashford. And then I think it was the tracking defender, Shaw, and I think Lindelof as well, helping out to clear it away. So yeah, it's really annoying, really, that Cavani couldn't do anything in that game. But it was Liverpool, so you got to put things into perspective. But then, luckily, he was rewarded with a start about time, and he did get the goal. And he's just so good at movement, very, very, good at sniffing out a chance and stuck it away in that that Fulham game, I should say. So yeah, I'm very happy with him. A goal was all I wanted, and a goal was what I got, and a bonus as well to get him a very nice 7 points from that Fulham match. And then we had Tammy Abraham. I was gambling with this, of course, but to be fair, Chelsea only scored 1 goal across both games. And if it was Timo Werner that I'd gone for, then it wouldn't have been a difference. I think Abraham actually was unlucky, especially in that Fulham game, to not score. There was that chance with the header that he just couldn't get the power over. And also there was a ball in that he was stretching for, and then Pulisic came in at the back post. Maybe Abraham gets there before him, but it just wasn't his day. And against Leicester, I'll admit, Abraham was pretty quiet, and he was actually defending that set piece when Ndidi hit it with the outside of his foot, and lovely goal in off the post that he couldn't defend. But it was a game against Leicester that Chelsea really didn't turn up, and I'm not too worried about that because he's got the 90 minutes from that Leicester game. He's got 25, which is, annoying again, just like Cavani from that first game that he didn't start. But again, I could have gone with Werner. I could have even gone with someone like Gabriel Jesus or maybe someone like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We know Calvert-Lewin's obviously injured, but the point is, for that price point, for 7.2 million, there weren't many options, and all those options that I didn't pick blanked anyway this game week, so I don't really feel like I've missed out too much on that. But with, I think, Cavani and Abraham, there's still uncertainty that either of them will get a consistent run in the team, so that's something I've got to think about. But we end up this 11 with an absolute legend of this team, and that is Michail Antonio. And I just had a feeling he was going to come back from injury and do well. It was Burnley and West Brom. You just couldn't really turn it down, the opportunity. And he's just absolute legend. I mean, to get a goal against Burnley, it's very good. And he kind of reacted well to the chance that he got. It was a mix-up from Burnley's defence, and he just stuck a toe in. The second goal from that West Brom game was brilliant. I mean, the knockback from Yarmolenko, and then he just, on the turn, lovely volley into the goal. And yeah, he's just a bit of a legend at this point. Playing both games with quite a lot of minutes, which I was surprised by because I thought he'd get rested. And the beautiful thing about it is bonus points maximum in both games. I mean, it's just brilliant. So I'm so happy about Antonio. He's a transfer that really did pay off, and I think there'll be still reliance on him because he's their only recognised striker. And if he keeps performing the way he will, there's no reason to suggest he can't keep doing it. And then in the bench, we had Sanchez. He got a very nice return of 7 points, bonus point to go there as well. So he's a very good backup goalie if I need him. And it was a shame that he had to do so well in a game that I didn't play him in. But luckily, Mendy outscored him by 1 point. So it's not like we had to regret that. Then Smith Rowe, what an absolute cracking player. He's such a young gun and such a wonder kid. And he's really a player that's starting to embed his place in that team. He looks like he's really enjoying his time at Arsenal, and Arteta's got the trust in him. Lovely assist against Newcastle. Shame I couldn't have had him for that return, but still a very good player to have, especially if you don't want to play him some weeks and he can come in when you've got a player that you want to play every week, but they're injured for some reason or, rested for some reason. Then Stuart Dallas was the man that I actually did bring in. In my original preview, I actually had Pablo Mari, but he got injured at the last minute, so I had to get Stuart Dallas. And to be fair, Stuart Dallas has been such a great servant for my team, and I got rid of him with the fact that Leeds didn't have the double game week, but I just thought going forward, you want a Leeds player because their fixtures are very, very nice. And Dallas he's already established his legacy, and he's a bit of a legend. But I benched him this week because I thought there wouldn't be many points against Brighton, and that's how it turned out. With Leeds not scoring, that was a bit of a shocker, and Brighton getting their final win, finally, in the month of January. In a video that I said that Brighton hadn't won in January, and obviously then they go and prove me wrong, so fair play. And then my third substitute, Kilman, he didn't play, but it doesn't mean he won't play future games, and he's the third substitute, so you can't overthink it too much. I mean, it's a difficult one because obviously with Max Kilman, he's playing for a Wolves team that sometimes keep clean sheets, sometimes they don't, and I don't think you should overthink a third sub too much. Obviously, with a bench boost, you want to have 3 starting players, and I'll change it when I get to that. But yeah, that was my way of wrapping up this team for this week. And yeah, 124 points is amazing. Just seeing there, the average is 64 as of Friday, and there is still one more game to go with Aston Villa against Newcastle. So obviously my rank, which is currently 166,454, that's likely to decrease because, players have got some game players from that game that are threats to my rank, the likes of Target, the likes of Callum Wilson, Grealish, but I don't really mind because it was nothing I could do, and it's still an amazing haul. Like, whatever people do, I won't be too disheartened because it's such an amazing week. And the Gameweek ranks 69,634, which is pretty high considering there are 7.8 million players of fantasy football. So yeah, in conclusion, it was just a brilliant week. To get 124 points, to have 4 green arrows in a row is just amazing. And to get that really good record-breaking week, and beating my previous all-time best by 32. massive improvement, and I just like this team long term. I just think this is a sustainable team long term. Obviously, I'm going to make transfers each week, but for now, the basis and the core structure of this team is nice. Salah is a bit of an issue, of course, but he's still Salah. Like, you shouldn't make out he's this, League One player just because he's not scored in 4 games. Like, you could say the same with Sadio Mane. Is he necessarily a bad FPL option? I wouldn't say so. So, we got to see how Liverpool progress and see how they respond to that Burnley defeat. But I think they just got the tactics wrong on the night, and I think that we will see better things really from the champions. It was always going to be a drop-off from Liverpool because they did so well for so long, and now they're doing average, and people are like, what is going on? It's not ideal, and they haven't been in good form, but they are still a good team, so we've got to be careful with that. KDB delivered. When you want a captaincy return, you want an assist or a goal, and that's what I got. And obviously 2 games, and he got an extra point. And 16 points is pretty nice for a captain. Obviously, imagine if I'd have captained, someone like Antonio or John Stones. But you can't think like that. You've just got to be happy with the result that happened. And yeah, I'll take the Mendy clean sheet from that Fulham game. The defensive double up for Man City was a class move. And I think long term, it's going to be a class move. It just looks like it really does work. And Man City look pretty reliable. And obviously, yeah, I said about Cavani, short-term punt. I probably won't keep him because, like I said, there's not that security about him playing. But he's still done well for me this week in a fixture against Fulham that was pretty favourable. And Salah doesn't make me happy, but you can't take that away from what has been an amazing week, which has seen me go up to 166k rank, which is incredible considering this season my target is 600k. I'm really surpassing the expectations, and specifically it's 166,454. So really happy with that. 1,166 overall points, and as you can see here, people, I'm top of a lot of my mini leagues and a lot of the ones that matter. So that's really nice to see. And at the end of the day, I joined the 100 club. It was a thing I'd never done in my FPL experience before, and I've done it now. And some people say, well, you've just used your free hit. Why would you use a wild card also? And you could say maybe it's a bit of a waste, but I didn't think it was because I thought double game week. Why don't I just get all the players that have 2 games? It just looks very appetizing from my point of view. And this was a conversation that I actually had to pretty much justify my wild card. There's this player called FPL School, and I basically said how I had loads of injuries. And I just thought it just was something I had to be doing. Obviously, yeah, like you say, a free hit and then a wild card seems a bit rash because you're using kind of your 2 big main chips. But I think, to be honest, this week just felt right. And yes, it might be hard to maneuver like game week 26, game week 29 when there will be some blanks. But I can just take hits. And suck it up. When it comes to it, I'll hopefully have the players that do play. If not, we'll make some hits. And the position I've put myself in means even some hits won't affect me too much. So I think we're all good. We really don't need to worry. And to be honest, I'm really glad, when you get 124 points, you want to use a chip well. And I used my wild card really well here. But I also am glad that I didn't waste my triple captain. A lot of people this week use their triple captain. Obviously, if you use it on Stones or Diaz or Antonio, then you've had an absolute wonderful time. But a lot of people did triple captain De Bruyne, which is not the best haul of all time. A lot of people triple captain Salah, and I really feel for you. To not get past that 15-point mark on a triple captain has got to sting. So, yeah, it was an unfortunate one for those people. And I didn't bench boost either because I thought there'll be chances later on in the season to use that. And I think my bench right now, Sanchez, Smith Rowe, Dallas, Kilman, it's ready, nearly ready for a bench boost with Smith Rowe very good, Dallas very good, Sanchez very good. But I'm not sure it's quite ready yet because I think I'll keep building towards the perfect bench boost, or at least the best out of my situation. And I'll get to that at some point. But I might have to bench KDB in week 20, as I said, with that injury. We'll see what we do with that. But that is my FPL review for Game Week 19 done. I hope you have enjoyed. Smash that like button, and I shall see you in the next FPL video, which will be an FPL preview for Game Week 20.